In 2012, Smiley emerged as a horror film tapping into the anxieties of the internet age, blending urban legend with anonymous video chat. The film's slasher villain, a stitched smile masked figure, is summoned by typing "I did it for the lulz" during a video chat, turning a meme into a deadly threat. Smiley explores how online anonymity can breed cruelty, suggesting that digital platforms can become conduits for real-world horror. Ultimately, it's a cautionary tale about how collective belief in online legends can blur the line between fiction and reality, transforming a simple emoticon into a symbol of dread. Smiley centers on Ashley, a fragile college student haunted by her mother's suicide, seeking a fresh start. Her roommate Proxy, cynical and immersed in internet culture, introduces Ashley to the Smiley legend and the dark world of online pranks. Binder, an awkward student with a crush on Ashley, represents the lonely side of internet culture, adding suspicion and paranoia. Authority figures like Professor Clayton and dismissive police further isolate Ashley, unable to grasp the digital threat. These characters reinforce the film's theme: traditional systems are powerless against dangers born from the internet. Ashley's struggle becomes a fight for survival and sanity as she's pulled deeper into the myth. Ashley's arrival at college is overshadowed by unease and her emotional scars. Proxy quickly immerses her in the Smiley legend via an anonymous video chat site where typing "I did it for the lulz" supposedly summons a killer. Skeptical but pressured, Ashley participates. They witness a masked figure murder a stranger on camera. Proxy dismisses it as a prank, but Ashley is traumatized, convinced they've seen a real killing. The event blurs the line between internet myth and reality, launching Ashley into obsession and fear. Proxy's nonchalance clashes with Ashley's growing paranoia. The central tension: is Smiley real, or just a sick joke gone too far? Ashley is haunted by what she saw, but Proxy insists it was just an elaborate troll. The police dismiss Ashley's report, seeing her as unstable and lacking evidence. Isolated and doubting her sanity, Ashley convinces Proxy to repeat the ritual. They witness another on-screen murder, shattering Ashley's hope that it was a prank. The phrase, "I did it for the lulz," now feels like a curse, and Ashley believes Smiley is coming for her. Her fear turns to paranoia, convinced she's responsible for unleashing a digital killer. The legend's power grows, feeding on their belief and guilt. Ashley's paranoia blurs reality. She sees Smiley everywhere, unsure what's real. At a party, she panics, inadvertently summoning Smiley and witnessing a public murder. The legend spreads across campus, fueling fear and copycat pranks. Ashley can't distinguish threats from jokes, deepening her isolation. The violence escalates, including a tragic prank on a babysitter that ends in real death. Each incident underscores the film's warning about online cruelty's real-world impact. Ashley pushes away those who try to help, convinced she's cursed. The police remain skeptical, leaving Ashley trapped in a nightmare of her own making. Alone and dismissed, Ashley investigates Smiley's origins, turning to Professor Clayton for guidance. He suggests the murders are faked, the legend a product of collective hysteria and online manipulation. Ashley explores online forums, discovering a nihilistic group dedicated to chaos, for the lulz. She theorizes Smiley is a social experiment, an urban legend made real by belief and fear. Suspicion grows toward Proxy and Binder as Ashley's paranoia shifts from supernatural to conspiracy. The film pivots to a thriller, with Ashley determined to unmask those orchestrating her nightmare. The true enemy may be a network of faceless trolls, not a supernatural killer. The tension reaches its peak at a late-night campus gathering of the infamous lulz community, a group known for their elaborate pranks and obsession with internet legends. Ashley, driven by fear and desperation, storms into the room, her eyes wild with suspicion. She confronts the group, convinced that they are the masterminds behind the terrifying Smiley killings that have haunted the campus for weeks. The air is thick with anxiety as the students exchange nervous glances, unsure whether to confess or deny their involvement. Under the weight of Ashley's accusations, Binder and several others finally break down. They admit to orchestrating a series of fake online murders, hoping to create a viral urban legend that would make them internet famous. Their plan was to blur the line between reality and fiction, but they insist, with trembling voices, that none of them ever intended for anyone to actually get hurt. They deny any connection to the real killings, claiming it was all just a twisted game that spiraled out of control. Suddenly, chaos erupts. The real Smiley, clad in the infamous mask and stained with blood, bursts into the room. In a flash of violence, Binder is killed before anyone can react. The line between prank and reality shatters, leaving everyone in shock and terror. The legend has come to life, and no one is safe. Ashley, heart-pounding, flees through the darkened halls, desperate to escape the nightmare. But as she finally corners Smiley and rips off the mask, she is confronted with an impossible truth. Her own face stares back at her from beneath the mask. The horror is not just external, but deeply personal. In a devastating twist, it's revealed that Ashley, tormented by trauma and guilt, suffers from dissociative identity disorder. The Smiley persona is a fractured part of her own mind, born from her obsession with the legend and her inability to cope with her past. Every murder, every sighting, was a manifestation of her own psychological torment, a violent projection of her fractured psyche. The campus killings were not the work of a group or a supernatural force, but the tragic result of Ashley's splintered identity. Her mind, unable to accept the horror of her actions, created an elaborate conspiracy to shield her from the truth. The conspiracy, it turns out, was never real. It was a desperate illusion, a story Ashley's mind told itself to avoid facing the darkness within. The true enemy was her own psyche, twisted by trauma and fear. As the film draws to a chilling close, Ashley's reflection in a shattered mirror grins back at her, the Smiley persona now a permanent part of her identity. The legend lives on, not as a campus myth, but as a haunting presence within Ashley herself, forever blurring the line between reality and madness. Smiley warns us about the chilling, dehumanizing effects that internet anonymity can have on our behavior. When people hide behind screens and usernames, it becomes all too easy to forget that there are real human beings on the other side. The phrase, "I did it for the lulz," is often used to justify acts of cruelty, as if causing pain is just a harmless joke. But in reality, this mindset strips away empathy and encourages people to act in ways they never would face to face. The film powerfully illustrates how online pranks and so-called jokes can quickly spiral out of control, leading to real-world harm. What starts as a simple meme or a viral challenge can snowball, with more and more people joining in, believing in the fiction, and amplifying the consequences. Collective belief, fueled by the echo chamber of social media, can turn a harmless story into a dangerous reality, blurring the line between fiction and truth. In Smiley, the titular character becomes a tulpa, a shared thought form, brought to life by the collective imagination and fear of the online community. For Ashley, this manifests as a terrifying psychosis, where the boundaries between what's real and what's imagined begin to dissolve. The film uses this supernatural element to highlight how psychological torment can be just as damaging as physical harm. The story also offers a sharp critique of society's ongoing failure to address mental health issues. Ashley's desperate pleas for help are repeatedly ignored or dismissed by those around her, friends, authority figures, even mental health professionals. This neglect only deepens her isolation and suffering, showing how easy it is for vulnerable individuals to fall through the cracks when their pain is not taken seriously. The actions of the pranksters in the film may not be directly violent, but their thoughtless behavior creates the perfect conditions for tragedy. Their laughter and disregard for the consequences of their actions reveal a dangerous disconnect from the real impact their words and jokes can have on others. The film asks us to consider, when does a joke stop being funny and start becoming harmful? Smiley makes a compelling argument that there are no victimless pranks when psychological torment is involved. The emotional and mental scars left by online cruelty can be invisible, but they are no less real or lasting than physical wounds. The film reminds us that words and images shared online have real power. Anonymity is not a license for cruelty, it is a responsibility. Every comment, every post, every message can have a profound effect on someone's life, for better or for worse. Ultimately, Smiley's message is clear: our digital actions can have devastating real-world consequences. We must remember the humanity behind every screen, and choose empathy over cruelty, both online and off. Smiley, despite its many flaws and moments of awkward storytelling, delivers a timely and unsettling warning about the dangers of online detachment and cruelty. In a world where we spend more and more of our lives behind screens, it's easy to forget the impact our words and actions can have on others. Smiley taps into this anxiety, showing how the internet can become a breeding ground for apathy, malice, and even violence. Released at a time when social media and online forums were exploding in popularity, Smiley was among the first horror films to directly tackle the dark side of internet culture and the rapid, viral spread of urban legends. The film's story unfolds in a world where rumors and challenges can leap from screen to screen, infecting minds and blurring the line between fiction and reality. It's a chilling reminder of how quickly misinformation and fear can spread online, especially among young people searching for connection or thrills. The stitched smile killer at the heart of the film is more than just a slasher villain. It's a metaphor for how easily online negativity can be unleashed and how anonymous cruelty can take on a life of its own. The mask, with its grotesque grin, represents the faceless nature of internet hate, where people hide behind avatars and usernames to inflict pain without consequence. The film's central message, that virtual actions have real, lasting consequences, remains deeply relevant today. Every post, every comment, every cruel joke can ripple outward, affecting real people in ways we might never see. Smiley asks us to consider the weight of our digital footprints and the responsibility we have to each other, even in anonymous spaces. While often clumsy in its execution and sometimes heavy-handed in its critique, Smiley's exploration of lulz culture and digital apathy was surprisingly prescient. It anticipated the rise of online trolling, cyberbullying, and the normalization of cruelty for entertainment. The film's depiction of characters who treat suffering as a joke or a game is uncomfortably close to the reality of many online communities today. Ultimately, Smiley forces viewers to confront the darkness lurking in digital spaces and the very real human cost of online cruelty. It's a horror story not just about a killer, but about the ways we can become complicit in harm when we forget the humanity of those on the other side of the screen. Smiley stands as a flawed but powerful reminder. Behind every screen is a real person, and the nightmares we create online can become all too real. In the end, the film challenges us to look beyond the mask, to recognize the consequences of our actions, and to remember that empathy and kindness are needed now more than ever in our digital world.